Hi everybody, welcome to the live stream. I'm just opening up the chat here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new here, I'm Kristin. Hi, Kristin. You're watching Traveling with Kristin, and this is my monthly YouTube live that we do on the last Sunday of the month at different times to give everybody a chance to watch in their time zone. And if you are watching right now, go ahead and say hello in the chat. Hello, where are you from? We have Tech Lords here. He's the moderator, longtime moderator, 2 years now, more than 2 years. And so be nice in the chat or he will moderate you. Okay, it looks like my computer's freezing up because it doesn't like running live streaming software. But let me know if you can hear me okay. Check, check, check. That you can hear this microphone and I'm connected to the right microphone. That's always a good thing to do. Let's check here. Audio should be working. I set it up all right. Okay, we've got lots of people in the house. So let me know also, is this your first YouTube live on my channel? Or are you an OG? I used to do a live stream every single day, but now it's a once a month. So let me know if you've been on the live stream before, if this is your first live stream, and any questions that you have. Go ahead and get those questions ready. We can make it's usually an AMA, if I'm honest. It's kind of a travel Q&A because it is a travel channel. After all, we're all here because we love travel or living abroad or living a free location independent life. And so we kind of get into all different aspects. But yeah, bring your questions. So let's give some shout outs. If you have been on previous streams, you might notice a different background behind me, and that's because I moved this week. I moved again. I moved for the 6th time this year. What else is new? Okay, we've got Sean. Sean, where are you from? We have ABS Travel Indonesia. Hello. Jeff is here. Ronald. Sean's first time on the stream. Welcome. Are you here from the Costa Rica video that just got 1 million views? Wow. Yesterday, my first video with 1 million views. Had no idea it was going to be that one about why I left Costa Rica. So chances are that some of you are new from that video. Got Red Bull here. Pi is here from New Zealand. Hi, Pi. Pratik is here. Pratik's always coming in with the good online business questions in the comments of my video. Wants to be a writer on Medium. So yeah, if there's any like sort of video that you would like to request, you can also drop that in the chat. I have a long running list from previous live streams, and I'm not the fastest at making videos and editing them. I try to get one out like every week or every other week, but I am planning a series with Q&As that are shorter videos that I can make faster. And so if you have a video request, if you've commented below any of my videos, I have saved it in an Excel spreadsheet, but I also saved the live chat, so you can drop that here too. Oh, we've got the bald gorilla. Thank you for coming, kind sir. My neighbor. Tommy Bennett in Costa Rica. Hello. Indigo Escape in Portugal. Matt. Steve in Playa del Carmen. Aaron in Austin. Damien. Jack in Charlotte, North Carolina. I used to live there. Fun fact. Red Bull's in Czech Republic, but from Orlando. Oh, how long have you been living over there? We've got Robert here who would like to do a travel health insurance video. Okay, that has been on the list for a while, so I'll have to prioritize that one. Dean is here. Hi, Dean. How are you? Thank you for the sound check. Tech says all good. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay, we'll start getting into the questions. I'll do just a quick introduction for anyone who is new here and just saw the video on Costa Rica, which was, I think, the most recent video. Oh, and also the video about what Americans abroad think about the US and paying taxes and renouncing their citizenship and stuff like that. But if you are new to the channel, then I am from Florida originally. I'm currently based in Miami. I got a lot of questions about why I came back to the United States after living abroad for most of my life. So I started living abroad when I was 20 years old, studying abroad, and basically never came back. So I've lived in, I'm not sure exactly how many countries I've lived in, but I've been to 60 countries. I've probably lived in 20-something countries, and most of my time was spent between Central America and Europe. And I have been helping people relocate to different countries since 2005. I started working in real estate in Costa Rica, helping people move there to invest in real estate. And then after doing that for like 7 or 8 years, I started a relocation company and then started branching out, working in different countries. So over the years, I've relocated well over 1,000 people to 35 plus countries. And after doing that for a while and technology was getting better, I decided to start creating content to teach more people about it, because all I had ever done my entire career was work with people one-on-one. And I just wanted to be able to reach more people, share all of the stuff that I knew, and that was filling up my brain. And so I started writing on Medium, blogging on travelingwithkristin.com, which is not very updated right now. Started a podcast called Badass Digital Nomads that just reached its, I think we're on episode 105. So we just crossed 100 episodes of Badass Digital Nomads, and that is mostly a podcast with interviews with other online entrepreneurs, world travelers, people who work remotely. It could be famous people, writers like Rolf Potts or some of the top writers on Medium. It could be just my personal friends who I think are cool and interesting, who I bring them on the podcast. And I also do solo episodes about travel news or topics that people have been asking about recently. And I just interview people on how they do the cool stuff that they do. And so you can check that out. And what else about me? I guess that is it in a nutshell. Oh, I came back to the US in February of 2020 en route from Canada. I was snowboarding and doing a meditation course in British Columbia, and then I flew through Florida on my way to Europe for the rest of the year, and then the pandemic happened, and so I stayed here in Miami. I had actually planned on staying here for at least a month or so, but then 2 weeks into that, the lockdown started. So since then, I've just had a home base in different parts of Miami, and yeah, life is good. Just still working from home. I've always worked from home for more than 10 years, so nothing really changed as far as that. It was just more, I stopped traveling. But now I can continue to teach other people how to travel so that when you can start traveling again, or even if you're traveling right now, I can help you with those types of questions. So yeah, I'm in a different room today because I actually moved upstairs in my building. So when I moved to this apartment complex, like the same week I moved in, construction started next door on a giant skyscraper, which will take 3 years to build. So I figured I should leave. And then this apartment came available here upstairs, and I think it's quite nice. So here's the tour. It's 2 stories. Oh no, did my stream cut off? Okay, it looked like it just went black for a second. I might actually pause the replay so it's not so slow. Yeah, so I just moved this week. It's such a pain to move, right? I think being nomadic and living out of a backpack is one thing because you don't have so much stuff to move around, but moving in general is it's not so fun. So, okay. If you have any questions about me or travel, go ahead and drop them in the comments. And then after this live stream, we're gonna do the after party hangout over on patreon.com/travelingwithKristin. For my patrons, we'll do like a Zoom hangout. So if you want to join over there, feel free to join us. VIPs. Okay, we've got Kevin from UK, Sean, who's also from UK, but he's in Mexico. Douglas from Montreal. Nicholas is here from Sweden. Hello. All right, lots of cool people, friendly faces, new faces. I'm gonna open the other chat. Let's scroll here. Okay, get to some questions. How's everyone spending their Sunday? Okay, Pratik is asking me what kind of software do I use for the live stream. I'm using Ecamm Live right now, but before, for the past hour or so today, I was checking into Streamlabs because it has more of the bells and whistles that I'm sure a lot of you have seen on Twitch and with other streamers. So I wanted to up the production value of the streams, but I was not able to completely build that out today. It took longer than I expected. Actually, I should probably hire someone to just do it because it's not my thing. And if you know me, you know I'm a fan of focusing on your strengths. Outsource, delegate things that you don't like to do or that you don't want to do or that don't come naturally for you. But that's okay. We're going old school today. Okay, we've got Dave from Philadelphia. Kevin, second live stream. Nice. Oh gosh, you guys are funny. I'm reading some comments. Tommy is here. I think I've seen Tommy in other live streams. Tommy has some questions about the best way to find a place before you arrive to a new location. Online before you arrive or wait until you get there? So this is a really good question that I get so often that it's actually part of my checklist in my relocations. So when I'm relocating someone to another country, I have them fill out a property information form, and one of the questions is if they would like to rent that property in advance, sight unseen, just based on the photos, or if they would like to see it in person. And most people these days are okay with seeing it just in the photos, especially if they're not staying for very long. Maybe if they're going for a year or more, they want to see it in person. So my process is slightly different than you might use because I'm checking a lot of sources for each person, and I have a database with thousands of property owners and realtors and property managers all in different countries. But the first thing that I would say, if you're just casually looking for a place to rent, let's say you're going to move to a new place for a few months, so you're not going to be in a hotel, but you want something that you can kind of feel like home, is to see if there are any specific rental websites to that destination. So of course you're going to have the international sites like Airbnb and things like that, but a lot of people don't know that there's country-specific rentals websites. So in Malta, where I just did 2 relocations to Malta this week, there's a classified site called Malta Park. In Canada, there's Kijiji, and you can actually check for sublets, you can check for short-term rentals on there, furnished rentals, and then there's also large rental conglomerate sites that like pull in rental properties using a different, like an API of those sites. So you can check multiple sites at once. And then of course there's also the big ones like VRBO, HomeAway, FlipKey, but you'll end up finding duplicate properties on all of those sites. So you want to make sure that that place that you're renting has everything that you need, fast internet, ask for a speed test from the owner. If it looks a bit suspicious, make sure it's a legitimate listing, make sure that you're renting it through something that you can use a trusted source to send the money, or using credit card processing and not send money on Western Union or wire transfer to somebody. And if I'm going somewhere for a really long time, like a year, 6 months or a year, I actually will send a property agent. So I'll find somebody locally to go and take pictures, do a video tour, or sometimes I'll do a FaceTime or WhatsApp or something with the owner or the representative, just so that I can see it in person before I get there. So that's kind of a long-winded answer. It really depends on the location, but then there's also places like, I keep hitting the microphone, in Bulgaria, where I lived before the pandemic, it's actually much cheaper to get a rental through the local property agents and rent in person rather than renting on Airbnb. The Airbnb prices could be 3 times higher. So you do always want to check and just make sure that you're getting a price that is in line with the comps. Okay, I think we had a super chat. My stream is very laggy, like on my comment side. I can't scroll. There we go. It's so slow. I already restarted too before. This is from Henry. Henry, thank you for the $5 super chat. High five. New subscriber from San Francisco, California. Thank you for these live Q&As. Muchas gracias. Con mucho gusto, Henry. So good to see you. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And which video did you see that made you subscribe? I'm always curious to know. Okay, let's see. What other questions? We have Pura Vida here. We have Kevin asking Thailand or Bali. Ooh, that's a tough one. Oh man, I don't know if I could pick between Thailand and Bali. Bali, I feel like more connected to Bali because I've been going there for so long. For more than 10 years ago was the first time I went. And so it does have a special place in my heart. I love surfing. I used to be a competitive surfer. So if I had to live in either place, I would probably pick Bali. But I love Thailand as well. And also there's so much to explore in Thailand. Bali is a pretty small island. So there's a lot to see in Thailand. And then you can do more like side trips. Minsky, Hindenburg Minsky's here from New Zealand. Steve asks if I'm into crypto. Yes, I don't know if I'm like really into it. I don't follow it religiously, like on a daily basis. I'm not checking the prices, but I do own Bitcoin and a bit of Litecoin and Ethereum, for the gamble, but mostly Bitcoin. I have been around it for a long time. It's a very, if you've been on other live streams that people have asked me about, it's kind of sad because I used to own a lot of it in like 2012 to 2014, 15. Yeah, I should have kept all of it. Hey, Douglas is here for the first time. Dean said, glad my plant survived. I have, yes. This other plant, let me get it. I got this plant when I moved here, like a year ago, and it's still going strong. And my ex-boyfriend from like 5 or 6 years ago, very into crypto, still has our plant that we named Anita. So I don't know if any of you don't have kids. If you don't have kids, usually your pets become your kids. But if you're nomadic and you also don't have pets, then your plants become your kids and they become like temporary kids. So yeah, my ex-boyfriend still has our plant named Anita and she's flourishing in his mom's house. So, I keep in touch with my plants. And when I lived in Costa Rica, I used to like grow things because everything grows there. So I would actually sprout durian seeds. Have you ever had a durian fruit? It's very exotic. You can find them in Thailand. So I'd go to the organic farmers market in Costa Rica, and whatever I would buy, I would plant it around my house. So I had wild spinach growing, and papaya, watermelon, all sorts of things, star fruit, and durians. And then when I moved away from Costa Rica, which obviously I left, hence the video, I gifted my seeds and plants and sprouts to my neighbors. So hopefully they're still growing somewhere in Costa Rica. Mario from Norway, nice. Oh, what's written on my shirt? It's Budapest. This is a really old shirt. So I have family from, my grandfather's from Hungary, like on the border with Hungary and Romania. Has anyone been to Budapest? Budapest Parliament by the Chain Bridge, very beautiful. Thank you, Douglas, for the kind words. Hey, Tone Look. Hi, Angel. Hola, hola. BG says I had 2 million eyes on me. Oh, don't scare me. Hi, Dan from Slovenia. Red Bull FX. Does anyone watch the Formula One Netflix thing? Whenever I see Red Bull, I just think of the Formula One series. I watched all of the episodes. So I just found out this week that Formula One is coming to Miami next year. So I'll have to come back for that if I'm not here. I don't know what's going on these days with the world, or where I'll be. Someone was asking me yesterday, like, how long do you plan to stay here? I was like, I don't. I'm not planning. We've got a super chat. Oh, it's Henry. Thank you, Henry. He says, I enjoy your videos on Latin America. I was born and raised in San Francisco, but my mom is from Santa Tecla, El Salvador. Oh, very nice. And your dad is from Puebla, Mexico. I have been to Puebla. Have I ever tried pupusas from El Salvador? Yes. Are those like the tamales? Sounds very familiar. And I went to Puebla, and I went there with a friend for a conference. Such good food there. Also good churros. Good tacos. How do I close? Okay. Oh, Douglas is a journalist. Very cool. Let me know in the chat, what do you do for work and what are your goals? Like, what are you trying to learn through my channel? What can I help you do? Is it something work related? Is it travel and adventure related? Yeah, how can I help? Because if you have a question about something or a goal, it's likely that someone else watching has a similar one. Sylvia's here from Costa Rica. Oh God, I'm really hitting this microphone a lot. My lighting is off. I'm in front of the window. So that's why I actually moved my standing desk here. I have no furniture. I rented an unfurnished place, but all I really need is my desk, my DJ set, and my bed. So thank you, Dave. Says congrats on the 1 million. Nomad on fires in Prague. I'm really behind on the chat. I'm going to scroll down. Kelly Michael is here, first time on stream from Vancouver. So that was the last place I was before the pandemic started. So it feels like a long time ago. Vancouver is one of my favorite cities. People always ask me what my favorite places are. It's a very livable city, and also I love the mountains and that whole area around. Nias, I'm not sure how to say your name, asks if I've been to Turkey. And unfortunately not, but it is very high on my list. I would like to go there very soon. I know it's open right now. I could actually go, but I've been a little bit focused on work lately more than traveling, but I think I'm going to start going on some trips this summer. Hex says his daughter is in a long-distance relationship, yes, LDR, with a guy in France. I want to book a return flight for her in August. Which insurance company is best for travels to France? So I like to use companies that are good for any country. So over the past, like, probably 7-8 years, I was using World Nomads for a lot, and then recently started using Safety Wing because it was cheaper. But both of those companies, you can put in your first destination, and then it can cover you to any destination. Pretty much. There are some restrictions, so make sure to check the website. But I would use something like that because I never knew how long I was going to be in there. And typically it's the same price anyway, or very, very similar if you put in one country versus 3 countries or 5 countries. So I've just been partial to those. I've also used insuremytrip.com, and there you can compare and contrast a lot of the insurance policies and prices. We have another super chat from Porta Vida. Thank you, sir, ma'am. What is your name? He or she is asking, do you know of a good agent in Montenegro to help find an apartment in the Kotor area? So I haven't been to Montenegro in a few years, and I was there in the summer, and it was very difficult to find a rental, especially in Kotor, which is a very touristy area. So we actually didn't use a realtor, which we probably should have. We used Flipkey and all of the vacation rental sites. And in the end, because everything was so booked up, we couldn't even stay at any of the beaches or near Kotor at all. We ended up staying near Podgorica, which is the capital. But it actually ended up being a really good idea because we saved so much money. We were spending maybe $30 a night for a giant house on a vineyard in the center of Montenegro. So that would be unheard of anywhere along the coastline. And so it was really quiet, it was really beautiful. We were close to Albania, we were close to the city, which it's not the best capital in Europe, let's be honest, but it wasn't that far of a drive to get to Budva and the other attractions in Montenegro. So I would suggest even looking inland a little bit if you want to save money, but unfortunately I don't know any agents there. Indigo Escape is asking, how many people have I relocated to Portugal? They just changed their golden visa requirements. I actually haven't relocated that many people to Portugal. The ones I have not gotten the golden visa. They've just been going on passports for a few months at a time. And that is because my first relocation company, it's called Poker Refugees, and I was working for the first few years exclusively with professional poker players and sports bettors. And Portugal is a restricted country for online gaming. So that's kind of a tangent, but that's why I actually did not work in Portugal for many years. Hi, Isaac. Shout out to one of my patrons. He says, good afternoon to the queen of content creation. Oh, good idea, Tech Lords. If you have a question for Kristin, start with a capital Q. Thank you. How far behind am I in the live chat? If you're reading the chat and you're like, what the hell is going on? That's why. Okay. Mirna asks if I have helped people move to the Philippines. Yes. To Manila. Thomas is asking about the vaccination with travel, if it's required. Everybody who I know has been traveling, or who has been traveling, has been doing so just based on the PCR tests, and they have not needed to present proof of vaccination. Poe asks if I offer relocation services in Brazil. I haven't in years. I haven't done a relocation to Brazil in a long time. I do relocations, like we have a list of countries that we offer regularly, and then we also do custom ones, so it is possible. Rob got the vaccine. Congrats. I was actually supposed to go today, but I postponed it because of the live stream. George really enjoys the channel. Thank you so much. Okay. Minsky's asking about low tax countries for crypto, Western countries and safe. I have gotten a few questions on that. So that's actually on my list, on my Excel spreadsheet already. So keep an eye out. Actually, I have a few other crypto videos that are in the works. I don't want to give it away yet, but those should be cool. Yeah, vaccine passports aren't really a thing yet. I actually did a video on the vaccine passport a few months ago, but it seems like things have been changing even since I did that video, because all of the official, I guess, governments and company representatives, everybody was assuring the world that vaccine passports would not be required. But as we're seeing things reopen, we're seeing a lot of private companies have their own vaccine passport or ask for the proof of vaccination or testing to get in. So it was kind of one of those things where they said it wouldn't be necessary, but it's starting to just organically become a thing. So we'll have to see how that goes. Matt asks if I could get a second passport in any country, what would it be? My top choice. And I am working on getting a second citizenship in Europe because I really wanted a Schengen passport, and I am doing that through a family member in Romania. So I don't think I need to buy a second citizenship, but I'm going to try this route first. And that would pretty much do it for me. If I could have an EU passport, then I think I would be a happy camper. I'm happy anyway, but that would be great. Damien sold everything. You know, I'm such a minimalist. I've never even rented an unfurnished apartment before. Always furnished because of being a traveler and digital nomad, and I kind of like just having a blank space, like a blank canvas. Who is that other YouTuber that only has Alex Becker? A few people have commented about him on my channel. I like his channel, and he has, I think, just a bed and a desk. So it's basically like how mine is right now. Just have a bed, that's my bedroom up there, and a standing desk and a stool. I'm getting outside furniture so I can have a table to eat at, but otherwise, no stuff, no clutter. Nathaniel's in Italy, Padua, Italy. No, have not been there. Andrew's asking why would he make a course on Podia versus Udemy? The main difference between Podia and Udemy is that Podia is more direct to consumer, and Udemy has a subscription-based platform with a built-in audience. So you can typically keep all of the money basically if you sell on Podia, whereas Udemy takes a big cut, but you theoretically have access to sell more courses to more people on Udemy, but probably at a lower price point and also with more competition. But with Podia, you have to do your own marketing. So there are some trade-offs there. I use Podia. And my online course website is digitalnomadbootcamp.com, where I have a course on making money online and freelancing. And then if you want, you can also download some other types of guides on travelingwithkristin.com. But digitalnomadbootcamp.com is my course site that's hosted by Podia. Mark says, I forgot to tell everyone what a badass surfer you are, what I am. You forgot to tell everyone what a badass surfer you are. Hashtag the bald gorilla. I'm not one for tooting my own horn. I kind of feel like when I talk about surfing, it's like the cliche guy who's retired and talks about being a football star in high school. So I'm not that, like, it's not that long ago. It was 2004. It was kind of a long time ago that I was really, I would say that's when my surfing career peaked. I won the East Coast Championships and the National Championships in college women that year. And then I had just come back from Australia, so I was actually training for surfing in Australia and studying abroad, multitasking, and then won those contests and then moved to Costa Rica to work in real estate and surf all the time. But now I live in a town with no surfing. But you know, I love surfing, and now I do snowboarding. Well, not recently, but I started feeling like the identity of being a surfer was holding me back a bit from where, like, other countries that I could go to, because any country I went to, it was just for surfing. And so when I stopped traveling with a surfboard, it was like the whole world opened up, and there were so many more places that I could go without lugging my board with me. And so now when I do go surfing in most places, I either rent a board or borrow a board from people. And now there are actually companies that you can have a subscription, like the Uber of surfing, and depending on where you are, you can get a brand new board and then trade it in. Altered Illusions asks about keeping a US number while traveling abroad to get texts from credit cards and banks. Yeah, a lot of places you can actually switch from a text notification to an authenticator, but there are still some that would require texts. I've kept my same number since I was 16, and the way I've been able to do that is by when I used to have AT&T when I went abroad, I would put it on inactive or something so it would have the lowest possible plan per month. But now I use T-Mobile, and so you can get an international plan like T-Mobile or also Google Fi or one of those, but just keep a really basic plan. And even if you're paying, I don't know, a couple $100s a year, it's going to save you just a lot of time and headache to have that number and not always be switching your numbers around or trying to figure out alternatives to getting text messages and things. So I just consider it a cost of doing business. And then you can always use one of those online numbers as well, or have calls forwarded to that number. And I also travel with 2 cell phones, so I keep one US phone and one international so that I can take advantage of the local SIM cards, and usually paying a small amount of money for a large amount of high-speed data. Shailesh asks about an international SIM card to use for travel. The one that has worked the most for me, and it's not the fastest, but I use it as a backup, is Skyroam. And I just saw an email from them this week that they ran out of devices for the next couple months. So you can check out Skyroam's website, but they're out of stock right now. But I do like using them. So I actually travel with that as a backup. So that would be my 3rd data connection. And I use just an unlocked Wi-Fi device. So if you Google traveling with Kristin Amazon, you'll find my Amazon store, and I have the devices that I use in there. Oh, Pratik is asking about ayahuasca. Yes, I have tried ayahuasca in a country where it was allowed. And I don't know if I should talk about my experience with it on a live stream. It's kind of a personal thing. So I'm undecided on that. Maybe later. I'll have to think about it. Indian Mastiff wants me to do a live stream showing Miami. Actually, before I moved to Miami, when I just came for fun a couple times, there are some live streams on my channel, and one of them I'm streaming from my phone in the ocean. So I think if you search Traveling with Kristin Miami or live stream Miami on YouTube, you should be able to find it. Congrats to Pi as on the public holiday. Something strange that happens when you live abroad for a long time is you stop really celebrating or observing most holidays. So if it's your birthday and you're in a place where you don't know anyone, like you're probably not going to do anything, you know, maybe FaceTime your friends. And then if it's a local holiday that you're not familiar with, you might not even know it's a holiday until it's a holiday, and it might not be something that you feel compelled to celebrate. And then if you are in another country and your home country is celebrating a holiday, then if the other country doesn't observe it, then you're out of luck. And then also if you work online, every day is kind of the same, whether it's the weekend or the weekday, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to now that if you've worked from home during the pandemic, sometimes the days blend together. And so people don't care like what day it is, what time zone it is. Business is 24/7 these days. Thanks, Red Bull. Boshal asks if I can tell more about living in Estonia. So I have quite a few videos on living in Estonia. I used to have a playlist for it, but I ran out of room on YouTube, so I don't have that anymore. But also, if you just search Traveling with Kristin Estonia, you'll find some travel vlogs, my Living in Estonia video, and Cost of Living in Estonia video. Also, the Digital Nomad Visa video and the e-Residency Estonia video. But living in Estonia is quiet. I was really talking about it last night with a friend who is the co-founder of Wi-Fi Tribe, which is a work and travel company. So she's staying with me here in Miami, and we had dinner last night with her friends, and I was talking about how Estonia is a very good place to retreat to if you just want to be one with nature and be in a quiet area. They have lots of primeval forest, very ancient forests. I even went to the oldest tree in Estonia, and it has a little plaque. It's in the middle of nowhere. This tree is 200 years old. And they have large, like, flat fields, beautiful in the winter as well when it's covered in snow. The Baltic Sea. It's just a very nice and beautiful and relaxing place. It's one of those places where the silence is actually deafening. It was so quiet there that it was loud. I don't know how to explain it really, but just being the only person within miles and miles radius, you start to hear the sound of the forest. And that's actually quite scary in Estonia because they have the highest density of natural predators in the wild. And so there could be wolves, deer, moose, bears. There's all of those sorts of animals there. And so anytime a twig snapped, I was like, God, what animal is that? But also in the towns, it's really laid back. Low population density, small towns, great food, very nice people, and I like their spa scene. Like, I like the Northern Europe spa culture, also in Eastern Europe. So if you go to the gym, then you can have a really nice spa there. There's always people hanging out in the saunas. So I really like that. Travel 764 asking if I would move back to Portugal. Yeah, I would. There's a lot that I have not seen yet in Portugal, so I would definitely go back there. I'd probably spend some time out in the islands, Madeira, and then also maybe go surfing in Nazaré. I'm not really a big wave surfer, and Ericeira. So if you saw my best places to live in Portugal video, those were some of the places that I put in there. Trader Waltz is here. Waltz is one of my first subscribers. Welcome, Walt. Quick question related to your most recent Costa Rica video. Where in Costa Rica were you living during your 8 years? And what areas would you consider safer than most? So I have lived in every corner of that country. The places I spent the most time were in the Central Valley, in Escazú and Santana, and also a bit in the center in Romosur, and in Nosara. I spent a couple years living in Nosara. I lived in Jaco, Hermosa, Esterillos. I don't know like which places are safer than others. I would kind of consider the safety level to be quite uniform throughout the country. And I liked different areas for different things. So it really depends on what lifestyle that you want. Oh, I lived in Tamarindo, Flamingo. So if you go to those beach towns, it's a laid-back lifestyle, beautiful sunsets, and we were also talking about that, like the pros and cons of Costa Rica. Oh yeah, Manzanillo, Santa Teresa, Malpais, those are some of my favorite areas for surfing, sunsets, food, beach culture, yoga vibes. But for working, I really liked living in Escazú. I either worked from home or just within 5 minutes of my office, and I liked having all the shopping and art galleries, coffee shops, restaurants, amenities, paved roads, always good. I mean, most of the roads to a lot of places are paved these days. But then I also spent a lot of time down in the Osa Peninsula and Pavones, and there you really feel like you're at the end of the world. I remember being right on the other side of the Panamanian Costa Rican border, but on the Costa Rican side, south of Pavones, and it really does feel like you're in the end of the world, like this bubble. You just see blue water as far as the eye can see, palm trees, toucans, monkeys. I think it was white sand down past the surf break, and just no people around, and that's really nice. But it's not very practical if you're going to be, working online or you need to network with people locally. So yeah, it just depends. I think the internet is quite good in Lisbon. There are so many co-working spaces. I don't know if I've ever been to another town, even New York City, that has as many co-working spaces per square kilometer as Lisbon. So I had good internet at my house, and then you're always a stone's throw away from the good internet. But it depends on what your definition of good is. Like, I'm getting almost a gig here in Miami, but that was unheard of. I mean, I've been working remotely since the internet was below 1 megabyte. Although we had to download and upload less stuff back then. Hi, Chiara. Lord Hokage. I like that name. Hello, everybody. Jay asks, what's one place the worst place I've lived that I would never return to? Where would I not live? I have to think about that. I haven't explored that much of Brazil, but I did stay in this town called Porto de Galinhas when I came in from the Nomad cruise, and we went through Recife, and I felt like I didn't connect spiritually with that location. Like, I'd like to go to Sao Paulo, and I'd like to check out some of the other, those are like one of the biggest cities, like obviously Rio in Brazil, but I just remember, maybe it was because I was so exhausted from the whole trip across the Atlantic Ocean, but I remember it being really hot, like, to work there. I would love to just go to Porto de Galinhas and like hang out on the beach and do nothing. But to get all the way down there, and we had really bad internet, like basically no internet, and it was really hot, and I just felt like I just wanted to leave, and I flew to Buenos Aires. So it's not a problem with the place, it just wasn't aligned with what I was looking for. at that time. But there's pros and cons to all destinations. It's kind of hard to say like best and a worst. Like there's places that I love that other people hate. Like I was just interviewing this guy Eric Prince. He's the Minority Nomad on YouTube. I was just interviewing him on my podcast, and he was saying how he hates the Balkans, and I love the Balkans, but we like different things. I mean, he loves living in Bangkok, and I like Bangkok, but I wouldn't live there. And, you know, like the Balkans for me, fast internet, low cost of living, nice people, fresh food, good music scene. I went to a music festival in a fortress in Serbia once. Like, I love that kind of stuff, or like living in Belgrade, but it's not for everybody. Like, I think I would like Macedonia and all that entire area, but not everyone likes it. Oh, I think Trini, we have a super chat from Trini. Thank you so much. She says, hello, Kristin, subscribed a couple weeks ago. Oh, am I still answering super chats? I missed Henry's third chat. Oh no. That's because my computer is freezing up. Let me see if I can find it. Like I'm typing on the box and it's not responsive. I'm sorry, Henry, if I missed your other chat. I can't, my chat is frozen. Let me open this other one. This did not, oh, so I just answered that question, I guess, but maybe it wasn't from Henry. Henry had another super chat. Thank you so much. The third one, Kristin, what is one place you would never travel back to due to a bad experience, like a city or a country? Let me think of somewhere else that I would not go back to. You know, never say never, but I've had some bad experiences in Managua, in Nicaragua. It's just been politically unstable for a really long time. And one time I got stuck during the municipal elections, and they were having riots there because allegedly the Sandinistas were tampering with the ballots or the election results, and so there were just a lot of protests, riots, like it was getting violent, and I ended up getting stuck in Managua, and like my car got stuck in a parking lot, and I just had to get a random hotel for 3 days, and I couldn't leave the hotel, and that was pretty scary. I ended up actually just driving back to Costa Rica, so I left my stuff in my house, which was North Nicaragua, and I left it up there for a few months before like things calmed down and I went back. So I do own land in Nicaragua, and it is beautiful. I might actually live there again someday, but I don't think I would live there anytime soon because it's a really slow pace of life, and I feel like there's a lot more that I want to do. It's not very central to go anywhere. Like you've got Honduras and Costa Rica, otherwise you have to fly pretty far to get anywhere, so I probably won't go back there for a while. Another place that I thought was overrated was Santorini in Greece. This is maybe an unpopular opinion, but I thought the other Greek islands were just as nice and pretty and less expensive and less crowded. So I probably wouldn't go out of my way to go back there. I would like to check out other areas of Greece. Where else did I think was overrated? I'll think of some more. Okay. I'll scroll down to be more current with the chat. How to ship computer monitors to Colombia. I wouldn't ship them. I would bring them in my luggage. It's way too expensive to ship electronics internationally. They're so heavy and fragile. You would be better off just buying new ones. I have bought monitors in different countries and just sold them or given them away when I left, because it might cost $100 or $200 to buy a monitor. You might end up paying $100 or $200 in excess baggage fees to bring it with you, and you're going to pay way more than the cost of the monitor, unless it's like $1,000 monitor if you ship it. So I actually just got it's a monitor that attaches to your computer, Pexels maybe. So it attaches to your laptop and you can pull it out and you can have 3 monitors. So check those out, and then you don't need to ship them. Okay, George is asking, how hard is it to, oh wait, we got another super chat. I'm gonna keep an eye out. $10 from Dave. Thank you, Dave M. Where are you from? He says, other than 6 months in Cambodia, I have no nomad experience. I want to learn everything that will make it look like what I'm doing and how to get on House Hunters International. Thanks. Okay, multifaceted question. So, learning things to make it look like you know what you're doing. I would say the first thing is that no one's paying attention to what you look like you're doing. So you don't need to worry about that, because people are too concerned about what they're doing or if they know what they're doing. And I don't know if any of us really truly know what we're doing in the world. But can you be more specific on that note? Is it know what you're doing as like living there like a local, or traveling from place to place, or with work, like your appearance with your clients, partners, customers? Yeah, just let me, you don't have to pay again, but just, give me some more info in the chat, some more details, and I will answer better. And then to get on House Hunters International, I was on House Hunters in 2008. No, 2012, sorry. Something like that. No, 2011. This is a weird thing that happens when you travel a lot and become a digital nomad, is that you start to associate years of your life with destinations. And so I remember it was 2011 because I was living in the Central Valley of Costa Rica, and it was the year that I started my company. Because I was on House Hunters at the same time that I was launching my new company. So that was a very interesting time in my life. But I just applied through the website, and I had to make a video. And I'm probably calling myself out right now, but I know that video still exists on Vimeo. If you really want to find it, you can find it. But if you Google House Hunters International, Kristin Wilson, should come up. But you need to pitch why you should be on the show, and also talk about your clients that you're going to have. So if you are the realtor, you need to pitch also your clients. And if you are the buyers on the show, then I haven't applied it from that angle, but you probably would need to just explain to them why you would be a good fit for the show. So actually, they rejected the first 2 or 3 people that I wanted to have as my clients, and they ended up accepting a beautiful couple, Daniel and Julia, who are not together anymore. Julia is like engaged, living in Dubai. They met in Dubai and moved to Costa Rica. And Daniel, I don't know where he is right now, but yeah, unfortunately, they don't live there anymore. Hi, Christian. Nice and sunny. She says, hey, Kristin, happy to see your channel taking off. You deserve it. Heart. Thank you so much. Christian helped me launch my podcast, so she is the reason that Badass Digital Nomads exists. Otherwise, I probably would have waited longer to do it, even though I had a lot of interviews already recorded. John is asking, oh wait, is this another live chat? Oh, Trini is back. I see you, Trini. Thank you so much for the super chat. $10. Thank you. I see Henry a lot on other vloggers' Q&As. Oh, Henry. Oh, cool. Nice. You guys should be friends too. We need to join my Facebook group, Badass Digital Nomads, Trini and Henry, and everybody. And then we can like talk more than just on the live streams. But Trini says, big supporter. Kristin, in all your epic travels throughout the world, have you ever experienced anything paranormal? Ooh, very good question. I've never gotten this question before. And if you're skeptic, anything unexplained. So this is kind of funny because I think Pi and Tech Lords and Walt, maybe Angel, they will remember from the early days of my channel when I was live streaming a lot. We talked a lot about how there's not really travel content on travel channels anymore. It's all mostly paranormal type of shows. And so we always joked about like I should do paranormal travel videos. But I definitely believe in paranormal activity. I have experienced some things, and my friends and family have as well. So I'm from a town called St. Augustine, which is it is the oldest continually inhabited European settlement in the United States. And so it's almost 500 years old. I mean, obviously before that it was Native American settlements, lots of Florida tribes that lived in that area. But there's actually a ghost tour in St. Augustine. And so there's supposed to be a lot of ghosts in town. And my dad used to work at the Leitner Museum building. And so there were a lot of stories there. And so I would go with him to, like, when he was working late at night, I would be there as like a kid drawing on the legal pads and stuff like that. And we would always hear sounds and like crashes and things and like the roof and the walls. What is that? And my parents also, when they were looking for a house in St. Augustine, it was really hot one day, and they were on the stairs, and this freezing cold air like swept down the stairs, and they're like, what was that? Like they'd never experienced that before. And I think that the electricity was off because the house was for sale, and eventually the realtor admitted that the house was haunted. It was like a dentist or something that died in the house. And it's so many stories like that. So yeah, I mean, there's probably more that I'm not remembering right now, but I think if there's ever been one instance of paranormal activity in the history of the world, then that means it's possible, and that means it exists. Deanna is asking about moving and living abroad with pets. So I have helped a lot of people move. One guy had 5 cats, and we moved him to Costa Rica. One of the cats ran away when he got there. So a lot of people don't want to bring their animals under the plane, so that's an issue because, you know, it stresses them out a lot. But it's possible. I mean, you got to get the pet passport. It really depends on the country. But I've chosen not to do it just because I travel at a fast pace. But if you're going to one place for the year or multiple years, then it's quite common. And also depending on the size of your dog. If you're doing a super chat right now, my chat is being a little bit slow, but I will get to you. Where's the chat? Okay, I'm going to move it over here so I can see it better. Oh, maybe in my studio. Okay. Ricardo asks, how many languages do I speak? Only English and Spanish. And I learned Spanish on a scholarship to Costa Rica when I was in college through the Rotary Foundation. So if you are looking to learn a language, hands down, I know there's all of these hacks on like how to learn a language faster, and Nathaniel Drews has some videos on that. Tim Ferriss has some videos on that. But I think the most consistent, long-term way, like to really learn a language and know it for the rest of your life, is to do an immersion. That means moving to a country at least for a few months, taking classes 4 or 5 days a week, living with a host family, integrating with the culture, immersing yourself in that culture. And it doesn't have to be one-on-one classes, it can be group classes. But the longer you live in that country, if you're just, surrounding yourself in that environment, you're going to learn way faster, and it's going to be integrated in your brain. So it does take a commitment, but I feel like I learned Spanish in the first month or so, and then I built on that foundation for the rest of the years that I lived in Costa Rica. But I learned more in 1 month of an immersion than in 4 years of high school, college Spanish classes. Christian talking to Matthias, what were you saying about me? Deanna Dolan is here. She says, I love how your authenticity and compassion come through in your videos. It's refreshing. Thank you so much, Deanna. I'm just being me. Some of my patrons have said that I've been speaking better on video lately, so maybe that's helpful. It's just quantity, like doing so many videos and so many streams. I think you start to just speak more naturally and not be concerned with following a script or anything like that. And also the topics that I choose to talk about. So if you wanted to start a YouTube channel, if you do it about something that you know really well and something that you love, like that's why I started traveling with Kristin. I wanted to start a brand that was me, like an extension of my identity that could grow with me through life. I'm always going to be Kristin, and I'm always going to love traveling. So I figured I could just go, start with that and build from there. And having lived this lifestyle and also worked in it and also helped other people move gave me this really multifaceted perspective on all of these topics that allows me to just riff on them and talk. But, I always have to be continually learning and staying up to date with new information. But, yeah, it's just like an extension of how I've been living since I was old enough to really choose for myself what I wanted my life to be like. So it's good that comes across. Red Bull says persistence is key. Do one thing nonstop over and over again and you will make it. Believe. Yes. I actually have, has anybody read Ryan Holiday's books or The Daily Stoic? I've been following them for a really long time, and I did some of the Daily Stoic challenges. And in one of them, one of the tasks was to create epithets to live by, so principles, essentially. And I wrote down, and I call them the P's. Is it 4 P's? 5 P's. Patience, persistence, maybe it's 3 P's. Oh, permissionless. Patience, persistence, permissionless, prolific. 4 P's. And I try to keep that in mind every day. And it's true, like the only reason that you fail is when you give up. But sometimes you want to fail on purpose. Like I failed at playing piano. I intentionally gave up and stopped. I'm sure if I continued the rest of my life, I would have gotten better at it. I just didn't like it that much. Oh, Alex Becker has an oxygen chamber and red light therapy. Okay, I'll look into that. In Bulgaria, they have these Himalayan salt chambers. I know I've seen them in the US too, but they are so relaxing. So there was this spa actually in Bansko, Kristin, if you're still watching, Hotel Lucky Bansko is a really nice hotel. It's probably like the nicest hotel in Bansko, Bulgaria, at the bottom of the hill. And you can rent long-term apartments there for really expensive, like $1,000 or more, like $1,100 a month, which is a lot for Bansko. It could be like 2 to 4 times more than a local rental, but it's like fully furnished, swanky, has like nice restaurant, and they have an amazing spa, gym, pool, hot tub, saunas, and this Himalayan salt chamber that you instantly walk in and you're like, like it's just, I don't know. I have a, wait, there it is. My Himalayan salt lamp light. It's like a whole room of Himalayan, built out of Himalayan salt. It's one of my favorite ways to relax. Tech Toys says that I can get Romanian or Hungarian if I have roots in Transylvania, which I do. But I thought I had to learn Hungarian to get the Hungarian passport, and I have not made time to learn Hungarian. Thanks, Tech, for all of your moderation work. BMW Nomad says he's starting this as an apprentice. Oh, my diagram of the honeymoon crisis recovery adjustment curve has worked amazingly well for him because he's experienced all 4. So I do have a video on the Nomad Summit YouTube channel that is, I think if you Google digital nomad relocation plan, you can watch a 1-hour presentation that goes through that curve, and it's like all a relocation plan for digital nomads. So look that up if you're interested. Got Michael here, Sammy here. Pay $120 a month. Is that for your telecommunications? Marianne from Slovakia. Oh, that's another place I think. No, I like Slovakia. I thought Prague in Czech Republic was a bit overrated. It was like too touristy for me, but I loved Slovakia. Starting a career as a web developer. What do you require from your web developer? I have a WordPress site that I have a Belgian developer, and then I have a Squarespace site that I do, which is why it doesn't look so good. No, I think it looks okay, but I just kind of like to do it myself because I find that depending, if I'm building a new site from scratch, I'll use a developer, but I like it to be in a format that I can edit it because it's too much time and back and forth asking people to do stuff like that. Darian's here from Germany. He says, tons of us appreciate your updates and info. You are surely an asset. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see if I can get into the YouTube studio in case there are any sort of super chats, because my chat is frozen over there. Oh, yes, there is one. Michael, if I missed you and you did a chat in the last 5 or 10 minutes, then let me know. He just says thank you with a cute pear. A cute, it looks like an exercise pear. I love super chats. Thank you so much, Michael. You're welcome. Still a little bit frozen. I'll just have to keep refreshing. Okay. We have people from Finland about to go to sleep but saw that I was streaming. Thank you so much. I've been to Helsinki. I'm sorry I did not love Helsinki. It was raining when I was there, and it was very expensive, but I really want to go to the north of Finland. And I think Finland's an amazing country. Very well organized, very developed, very nice people. You just got to make sure it fits your budget. Spiros is here, a new subscriber, wanted to say hello. Thank you. Hello to everyone in the chat. Jack is suddenly eager to hear me talk about ayahuasca. Okay, I'm scared. I'll have to think about what I want to disclose about that experience. Sean is here. Sean Cosgrove. He says, holy crap, 73,000 subscribers. Congrats on the success. Thank you. Sean, I helped him relocate many years ago. I don't even remember. He moved to Costa Rica and then Malta. We almost were there at the same time. Mani is here from India. Thank you, but you should get your sleep, so don't stay too long. Anna just got back from the spa. James, Jeff, Brendan, finally caught a live stream. Yay. Your channel has been very inspiring since I discovered it a few months ago. So cool you've gotten into DJing recently. Hoping to make that part of my traveling. Thank you. So I have a DDJ 400, which I can totally bring with me in my carry-on, but there's also the 200 that's even smaller. So I'm not the lightest packer, and with all my camera equipment, that makes my carry-on very heavy because I don't like to check very expensive equipment in my checked bags unless I have like Pelican cases. Actually, my brother is a professional photographer and he had all of his Pelican cases broken open and everything stolen. I mean, you have to have good insurance if you're traveling with that kind of stuff, but I like to just avoid it by bringing my drone and all my camera stuff in the carry-on, but then adding a DJ controller to that just makes it even heavier. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with that when I'm traveling again. That's why it took me so long to learn, because I didn't have anywhere to practice. Sammy asks, have I been to the moon yet, and would I go? Haven't been, would definitely go. Would love to. Ooh, imagine Sean, imagine the quietness of space. Sean is like, he likes the quietness. That's probably what I was talking about Estonia. I gotta get, all right, I'm gonna skip down to the newer chats. I'm sorry, I'm so slow. I just want to answer all the questions. Shahab asks if I think Chiang Mai is a good place for first-time digital nomaders. I do if you want to meet a lot of other nomads. But I think anywhere in Thailand is good. Chiang Mai has that community if you're looking for that, but you can get the same like amenities and infrastructure and food anywhere. Davey asks if I've ever lived in Berlin. Yes, love Berlin. Would love to go back to Berlin, especially now that I'm more in the music scene. Sabrina asks about Norway. I have so many videos that I want to make about Norway. I have a lot of content saved. Okay, so the video I made about what it's like living in Japan, I'm making one about Norway. It's one of my favorite countries to live in. That's why I think I love Sweden too, but I do want to spend more time in Finland because every time I go to that area of the world, I just end up going back to Norway. So I think I need to give the other countries more attention. Terry Dean is here. Is Dave M still here? Did you still have questions, Dave? Henry, oh yes, new patron, Henry, thank you so much. I messaged you already. Forgot, we have the after party after this. Okay, Bald Gorilla, when we have coffee, tell me your Nicaragua story. You have so many good stories. Tech Toys, Alicante, Spain, very cheap, yes. Clash asks if it's even possible to be a digital nomad in Nicaragua. And yes, it wasn't really before. I mean, when I lived in Nicaragua, I remember my office was in a gas station and we had a satellite internet. And when I came home from work, which was only like a 5-minute drive, if the street light was on, I knew I had electricity. And I was like, yes. If it was off, I knew I was going to be sleeping outside because it's so hot. And I had one little air conditioning unit on my window. And so if the power was off, my room would just be a hot box. So if the power was off, that meant obviously the food in my fridge was bad. That happened every day. The power went off like 5 to 7 times a day. And then I would have to sleep outside with a mosquito net because it was just too hot inside. So since then, I think that the infrastructure has gotten better and it is possible. There's quite a few digital nomads in San Juan del Sur area. Atypical Vagabond this year. Thanks for the live chat. Great to hear questions answered that I normally wouldn't ask. You are welcome. We do this if you're just coming into the chat. We do this on the last Sunday of every month, and it's at different times. I actually realized I put the wrong time on the thumbnail because I guess it was at 5 p.m. last time, and today it was at 3 p.m., so I'm really sorry if you were confused. It was 5 p.m. and it was time for me to stop working, and I did not. Yeah, sometimes you just make mistakes like that. Okay, try to find. Henry, what other vloggers do you watch? Because Trini was saying you like lots of different travel channels. Thank you, Stephen Williams. Out for a walk. I love it. Listening or watching the live stream and chatting and participating from a walk. I do a lot of walking phone calls. Scroll down. People asking about freelance work income. If you have questions on that, check out my online course. It's called the Make Money Mentorship, and you can find it at digitalnomadbootcamp.com. I was just reading Badass Digital Nomad. Digitalnomadbootcamp.com. It's a course that I have for beginner freelancers learning to make money online for the first time. Gassan says you always provide the best information. That's why I'm a big fan. Thanks for everything. You're welcome. I'm only in the paranormal activity section of the chat. I'm scrolling faster. Patience. We'll go for another probably up to 30 minutes. So don't worry. I'll get to the questions. Dave asks if I ever thought of writing fiction based on my travel experiences. Yes, I actually heard a podcast with who was it? Tim Ferriss the other day. They were talking about fiction writing, and that is something that has always terrified me, which is a good hint. If something really scares you, but you keep thinking that you should do it at some point, then it's probably something for you to do, I think. Like, the scarier something is, but the more you're still attracted to it, I think it's one of those intuitive hits that you get. So I actually pursued that and went to a screenwriting class in the Netherlands when I was living in Amsterdam. This was 2019, before the pandemic. So maybe it was 2018. I've been writing since 2018. Like, I actually had a blog in 2007, 2008, a travel blog about Nicaragua. So you can also Google that. It's still up on like blogger.com or something. But then I stopped for 10 years because I thought I was too busy working and traveling, and then I started again a few years ago. So yeah, anything that scares you guys, try a class or a course or something on it and see how that goes. Like, I was once terrified to DJ in front of other human beings, and now I've done it, and it's really fun. Oh, I see what you mean about the light. If I go closer to the camera, it's like it focuses differently, so that's why it's flashing a bit. Oh, we have another super chat from Henry. Henry, you're like VIP of the super chats today. Thank you so much. He says, Kristin, if time travel to the past was possible, what era would you love to explore? He says, I truly hope it's possible. I'm fascinated with technology. I am too. And wow, there was this show on Netflix, I forget what it was called. I watched a few episodes, Outlander, about this woman who gets back into time. She's in Scotland or something like that, and I was really thinking about where I would want to go. I think that I would have to say, if it was safe, I would love to go back before there were humans, when there were dinosaurs and things. I think that would be really cool, just to see all of the different animals. I would have to be in some kind of time travel bubble or vehicle that would protect me, kind of like Jurassic Park. Didn't they have those bubbles that they traveled? Well, those didn't work very well in the movie, but you know what I mean. I would love to see like the giant trees, the giant plants, and just I think that would be amazing to see what Earth was like before humans. I would also like to time travel back to kind of the original philosophers. I don't know if I could pick just one philosopher, but I would like to just sit down with like Socrates or something and talk to him if I could speak his language. If I spoke Latin or whatever they were speaking. Because it's always fascinated me how people thousands of years ago acquired knowledge. I just think about how difficult that would have been. I mean, of course, they had castles, libraries, tutors, mentors, but when you think of the painstaking care that it took to record knowledge back then with a feather ink pen or carving into stone blocks and passing down stories and information, it just boggles my mind that we have everything at our fingertips right now. So I would love to go back and just speak with philosophers and understand how they had such a comprehensive understanding of a world without modern technology, a world that they thought was flat, you know. I don't know. I just think that's amazing. Kips is trolling on this chat. He says I mispronounce Costa Rica. Okay. I usually don't talk about trolls, but Costa Ricans in general are made fun of in a very friendly way by other countries for pronouncing their R wrong. Or they don't really pronounce the R. Instead of saying like R, they say R. And I learned Spanish in Costa Rica, so I mean, I'm going to have a little bit of a Costa Rican accent. And also, I have a pet peeve of pronouncing the words of places like in like not my native language. So I just choose to use my American accent whenever I'm talking in English. And I think that it's funny that makes people mad. Also, I went to speech classes when I was in elementary school. And I like to say that because I think some people who might want to create content might feel self-conscious about how they speak. And you don't need to give a F. I don't want to cuss on this live stream. But like, you don't need to, like, if you think that your voice sounds bad or that you can't speak well, just do it anyway. So many people who I've had on my podcast who have their own podcasts or YouTube channels, many of them are dyslexic or were dyslexic. They had speech impediments, they stutter. And so I think the more power to you. Like, I love that I had to go to speech class for years to be able to pronounce like S's and R's and SH and CH. And then to still be able to use my voice and not care if like someone in a chat thinks I pronounce a word poorly. So if that's you, you know, if that's been holding you back because, you know, you just aren't sure of yourself, then I say just do it anyway. And like other people were saying, like the more you practice things in volume, you're gonna get better and better, and you're also not gonna really care. Like your little, each person has their quirks. That makes you who you are. That makes you like unique in the world. So just embrace it. Oh, good tip, Tech. Tech Lord says traveling to Panama, don't buy your SIM card at the airport. The normal price is $5 per week, unlimited data. Sometimes I get a SIM anyway at the airport, depending on what time I land. But I always then go to a local store. It's like that in the Netherlands as well, and shop around. In a lot of countries, you can get a local price because they have the tourist SIM cards in the airport. Anything tourist in the name is going to be more expensive. People are still talking about pronunciation of names. So, like when people say Ibiza for Ibiza, Spain, it only is pronounced Ibiza if you are Spanish, like with a Spanish accent. Like otherwise, it's if you're from a different country that has a different Spanish accent, then it would be Ibiza. So I think it's all depends on where you're from. Tech, we can block trolls. By the way, like, if people aren't contributing positivity or objectivity to the conversation, you're out of here. this is my channel. This is my chat. Gediminas is here. Canadian of Lithuanian heritage, living in the U.S. Very nice. I have some Lithuania videos. I met one of the, it was like the mayor of this little tiny, not recognized country inside of Vilnius. So there's one, Vilnius, Lithuania. If I were Lithuanian, or if I could speak Lithuanian, I would pronounce it Vilnius. But I think it sounds worse when I try to say it that way. Anyway, I have some Lithuania videos if you want to check those out. Thanks, B. Julia is telling people where I am. Matt with a capital Q. How often do I DJ? Not as often as I would like. I was trying to do about 15 minutes a day, and sometimes it would be an hour at night, but it was keeping me awake because I would get more energy and then I couldn't go to bed. So a few nights a week when I have some time. And then I'm going to start doing more, I guess, in person. Aman asked about my Romanian roots. I know that my grandfather came from Romania to the US when he was 8 or 9. So I'm guessing that we don't have documents from before that, but I think most of his side of the family is from that area. Thanks, Dave. Dave M. Just saw your other message. James is retiring in 2 years. Portugal or Spain? Oh God, that's a tough question. I think if you are retiring, you should go to both. I mean, the cost of living is very similar. The lifestyle is very similar. The quality of food is similar. The cultures are different, obviously, but some of the, like the geography is similar. I mean, they're different countries. So I think if you're going to retire there long term, you could do some shorter term trips to go there for, even if you spent a year in each country. I mean, you'd have to get a visa in that case, but because you have the Schengen issue, if you're from the US, you can only do the 90 days. But if you were to get some sort of visa or permit to stay, you could just mix it up, like do a year or so, Portugal, Spain, and then decide. Although I don't know, even having been to both countries, I'd probably go to Spain, but that's just because I speak Spanish already, so it's really easy for me to adapt there. Oh, nice. Dave's employer will let him work remotely. Okay, I'm going to try to get down to the new chat. I know, I'm sorry for the delay. It's really annoying when I'm reading old messages and you can't see them. Sorry, Henry. Okay. Gabriel Traveler, haven't seen, oh, maybe I have. Does he speak Spanish? Is he from Mexico? Okay, I'm gonna get to the recent comments. I'm gonna scroll fast. I think just at the beginning when everyone comments where they're from, it goes really fast and then I never catch up. Steven asks, First-time viewers from Nova Scotia, welcome, welcome. What would you recommend as the first country to visit in Europe to work remotely? Well, I guess that depends on which countries are open or how long you are going to go. And also, like when you're thinking about where to go, it seems like a cop-out answer, but you really want to think about what kind of lifestyle you want to have. So like what time of year are you going to go? What is the climate going to be like? Like my dream was to go to Lofoten, Norway, which is the north in the Arctic Circle. And I was there during the end of summer, beginning of fall. And that was beautiful for me. But then other people, their idea of a dream life living in Europe might be on a sailboat in Croatia. So you've really got to think about what kind of experience you want and then go from there. But the good thing about Europe is that the internet is really good everywhere. But then you also have to think about how long you can stay in each country. So if it's a Schengen country, not Schengen country, and if you're going to move long term, if you want to go to a country that's easier to get a visa, or if you want to get like one of the new digital nomad visas, remote work visas. So there's a lot of things to check. But I talk more about that in my presentation on relocating as a digital nomad. Okay, I'm going to go faster to see the newer chats. Go back to when Bitcoin was 25 cents. I didn't know about it until it was, I think, at least $1. A few dollars. I remember when it went to $100, we were like, and then $1,000. A lot of my friends became millionaires when it hit $1,000. No regrets. If I have any regret in life, it's not keeping my Bitcoin. Terry says, I can listen to you all day. You have a great voice, easy and relaxing. Thank you. This room is quite echoey because of the no furniture. So hopefully the audio sounds okay still. So Gediminas was here through the How I See the US After Living Abroad video. Glad you liked it. Red Bull says, my friend stutters and when he does, I cut him off and yell out, remix. It's good fun. And like people like Joe Biden, apparently he stutters also. I just have a lot of respect for people that stutter and then become public speakers or well, there's also one of the Stoics, I believe, had some sort of speech impediment and then became a great orator. So the obstacle is the way. I love those kind of stories of people that are overcome some amazing obstacle. I mean, we love that. We love the underdog stories. We love seeing how someone, they say you can never walk again, and then that person's running an ultra marathon a few years later. Like, it just shows that anything is possible. Tech Lords is fluent in French too. Oh, very nice. Okay. Let's see. Tara Emotionless is here. It says, I discovered your channel this morning. I love your video. Any suggestions for someone who used to work in video editing and wants to get back into it as a nomad? Video editing is a great skill for remote work because you can do it from anywhere, although you might want to have an extra monitor. So if you're not traveling with multiple monitors, you can get one, that connects to your laptop screen just so that you can have more room to work with. It's so important for editing. But another hack that I used to do is when I was traveling and I would get a co-working membership, I would go off hours at the co-working, or sometimes you can actually ask to rent one of the desks with a monitor. But if you get a membership and you get a code and you can access anytime, I would go to my co-working space in Amsterdam at night or on the weekends, and it was right downtown in the center. And I would edit with one of the empty monitors that they had there, and I was a lot more productive that way. Editing is one of those things where you get into a flow state. So if you need to use monitors, let's say you're trading or you just need extra space to work, you can talk to co-working spaces and these other places that you go and ask if they have any desk or something that you can rent. Capricorn asks top 5 countries. I'm so, like, I can never decide on top 5 or my favorite country because it just depends on my mood. And that sounds really, like, it sounds kind of like a first world problem, but I just find that there are pros and cons to each country. But the places that I find the best quality of life are typically, unfortunately, quite expensive places. I love being around water. So I think being from Florida, maybe being a Cancer, like a water sign, always growing up on the beach, I just love being around water. So that's why I chose Miami to live in. That's why I really love Vancouver in Canada. I love San Diego. I love Amsterdam. I love Norway. I love Australia, Japan, like anywhere that I can be around nature, like around water or mountains. And so I guess those are the places that I gravitate towards. Andy asked Costa Rica or Ecuador. I actually haven't been to Ecuador, so I guess Costa Rica? Hi, Oscar. Roger asks if I have spent time in, oh wait, we got a super chat. Have I spent time in Cartagena or Colombia? Cartagena or Santa Marta? No, I've only been to Medellin, so I have not been there, unfortunately. We have another super chat from Trini. Thank you, Trini. Again, if I missed you in the last few minutes on the super chat, please let me know. I'm getting to the bottom of the list, so I'll be more accurate on the chat. Trini asks if I think space or interstellar travel will be possible in 30 years, like the movie Passengers with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. I think it's quite possible in the next 30 years. We'll have to see what Elon does. But, you know, technology is developing at such an exponentially fast rate that it's hard to wrap my head around what is going to be possible 30 years from now. When you think of how much has happened in the past 5 years, 10 years, and with each year, innovation is compounding. I think within 30 years, maybe not exactly like the movie, but it does seem that we will have, you know, trips to the moon and Mars and things. So it's an interesting time for sure. I definitely want to go to space before leaving this life. I think that there needs to be a greater discussion in just the mainstream conversation and media about the wonders of life and the world and all of the things that are possible now. You know, we spend so much time talking about politics and healthcare, which are important, and geopolitics and conflicts, but we do need to, I think we should have some space in the mainstream media to just reflect on cool stuff that's happening. And yeah, I was talking about that at dinner also last night, that the education system is not made for that. It's not really made as like a school of life. It's like a school of rules, kind of. And yeah, so I don't know what I'm trying to say there. But basically, I think that, just all of the amazing things about life. Like, I want people to really embrace the opportunities that we have today. And there are so many that you can't do everything, right? But I feel like everything's moving so fast. Time feels like it moves very fast. And I feel like life, it's so easy to let it just pass by doing the normal day-to-day stuff. And so that's also why I started this channel, to just show that you can have a life in all of these different places, and you can have a life that's a little bit different. Because if you showed what we are doing now to someone who lived even 100 years ago, I just think that it would be mind-blowing. Like, imagine showing people from 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago the way that we live today and all that we're able to do with such a small amount of effort and money. And so sometimes I think we need like a global pause to be like, wow, like look at everything that's out here. Look at all that we can do. Let's go do some fun stuff. Let's make things. Let's share. I don't know, go down the rabbit hole, research things that interest you. Like, just do cool shit, you guys. This is my message from the live stream today. Biggest takeaway from the live stream: do you. Neil asks if I get bored living on an island. Oh, so if we take it back to Henry's question of a place I wouldn't live again, I do a lot of relocations to Malta, and it is a great place for some of my clients, especially who are working in the gaming industry. I'm not going to get into all of those reasons, but for someone like me, I felt like it was a bit too isolated for me. I have a lot of friends in Malta, and I spent a few months there, but I felt like it was too isolated, because it's like an island it's between two continents, so you're just kind of in the middle of the Mediterranean. And so I don't think that I would live there again. I would go back and visit, but I like to be in a place that's more central. Like, I've spent time in Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and I do eventually get island fever. It's a thing. I want to be able to just like drive and go somewhere or hop a quick flight. That's why I love Europe so much, because we go to so many countries in such a short amount of time. Okay, I'm almost down. We'll do about 5 or 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to start the Patreon Zoom hangout. So you can join that for the after party at patreon.com/travelingwithKristin. Peter's asking about Portugal, healthcare in Portugal if you retire there. You don't need to get citizenship to get, he's asking if he needs to get citizenship first. You don't need citizenship to be able to get health insurance there. I don't know if it's exactly the same as if you are part of the healthcare system as a citizen, but I believe with some sort of official status or residency, you could also opt into that. But what a lot of people end up doing is just like paying for local insurance, and there's always a public option and a private option. So even when I lived in Costa Rica, if my friends who had permanent residency there, they had the option to use the public healthcare system, but they still ended up using private healthcare anyway. It's just a personal preference. And depending on which country you're coming from, like if you're coming from the US, like, I mean, I would pay like $50 or so for a physician's appointment, like a checkup or something. And if I got really sick, I would have World Nomads or some kind of emergency medical insurance. But I just have been talking about in my podcast on Badass Digital Nomads that Safety Wing now has remote health. So an international healthcare plan. I think it's 175 plus countries, so including US citizens, including Canadians. It will also cover you for a number of months per year in your home country. And that starts at, I think, $153 per month. There are different plans, but that is not a travel medical insurance. That's like a global healthcare plan. So if you're going to Portugal to live there, you probably want to opt into one of the local health insurance plans. Like when I lived in Bulgaria, I was only there for 3 months, but I got local health insurance to cover me locally in addition to my international plan. But now that Safety Wing plan didn't exist before. But now it's, yeah, look up remote health. I also have an affiliate link for that if you want to use my link. Help a girl out. I don't know if I can actually look it up right now because my computer is being so slow. But I don't need that right now because I'm in the US, but once I start traveling again, I'm probably just going to get that. Troy is going to Key West in June. Oh, so good. I don't have any specific restaurant suggestions, but definitely eat some lobster. One of my favorite places. Key West is so cool. Oh, we have lots of Cancers here who also like the water. So you feel me, you guys understand. Dana would move to Mars if she could bring her dog. I wonder what the pet passport to Mars looks like. Christy's here. She says, love your channel. Appreciate all your awesome content. Thank you. You are welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all of the new subscribers. If I haven't met you yet from the past live stream, or if I haven't met you in the comments yet, then thank you for being here. Oh wow, Henry knows a lot of travel YouTubers. I haven't met any of those people. Haven't met Hey Nadine. I follow her on Instagram. Fun for Louie, Raya. They were like a little bit before me. Thanks, Julia. Nick finds the channel very informative. Very happy to see that. I am here to inform, inspire, entertain, hopefully. I'll post my remote health. I do get stressed out sometimes that I can't make videos as fast as I think of them. So I wish I could go, I want to go faster. There's so many on my list. It's hard because I need to like lower the production value so I can make them faster and answer more questions in video format. Yes, correct, Tech Toys. You can get health insurance in Spain for less than €100 per month, which is pretty good. I just dropped the link to the remote health insurance. Oh, I'm at the bottom of the chat. Very good. Julia's asking about Badass Digital Nomads. Yeah, I will drop that link. So, could share my screen. This is my podcast, badassdigitalnomads.com. And Rhapsody says, thanks, you rock. Vanessa says, if you were going to move to Portugal, would you choose Madeira or Porto? Ooh. I haven't been to Madeira yet, so I guess I don't know. But you can't go wrong with Porto. But I think I would get island fever for a while after living on Madeira, but I could definitely do a few months there. Dave is suggesting, oh, for Troy, get TV food maps. I've not heard of that. Cece says, very fun channel. Thank you. Well, we accomplished getting to the bottom of the chat. Carlos says, good content, accurate info. You are an intelligent woman. Successes for your channel. Thank you so much. Amazing. We have 140 people here in the live chat. I think this is a new record. What do you say, Pi? What do you say, Tech? Another live chat record. It used to be just 3 of us, but that's okay too. You gotta start somewhere. Oh, I did my first DJ set on Clubhouse, no, 2 days ago, and I had 0 listeners for the first 45 minutes. And then there was one guy, and he listened for about 30 minutes. And I was so happy, and it just made me think, like, I love that feeling of new beginnings. Like, even if no one is listening or no one is watching, just like putting yourself out there and doing that, like my very first live stream on Clubhouse, it's great, you know? Just do it, guys. Whether it's one person or 1 million people, it's all good. We're here to share, we're here to teach, we're here to learn, we're here to love, all that cliche stuff, but it's so true. You know, we need to talk about that more. So thank you everybody for being here. This was a great stream, 2 hours, high five. Welcome to all of the new subscribers, and Tech Lords, drop the chat, the Patreon link in the chat if you want to join us over in Zoom. Probably about 5 minutes. And yes, Henry, New Zealand is on my travel bucket list for sure. So join us next last Sunday of the month back on the channel. I'll post it again at least 1 day before so that you can set reminders. And lots more videos to come. More videos, more live streams, more to come. So thank you all, and see you again soon. Bye.